Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Adventures of FoxFoil. Today we are starting out in the fields that we built last time, and I am so happy with how these all turned out. It is so nice to have something out here at last to just expand this area and to really make this medieval village start to feel like a place that people live in. And we are going to be getting so many crops from this area. I am not sure what we are going to do with all of it, but until we harvest it, it's going to look really nice. And maybe I'll just never harvest it and just have it looking nice as well. But in the process of getting all of these fields planted, I did harvest it a number of times, and you can see we've got lots of carrots, we've got lots of potatoes, we've got a lot of beetroot, and a ton of wheat. But something that I was planning to do at the end of the last episode that I didn't do at the end of the last episode was to switch over to diamond gear, because we've been using the iron gear for quite a while now, and I think it's about time that we upgrade. And luckily, we discovered a place with a lot of diamonds a couple episodes ago, so it's going to be pretty easy to go find them. But while we head over to where the diamonds are, we should talk about what we're going to be doing today, because today is going to be about adding in a bunch of details, not only to the village, but also to the castle. And I've got a couple of different ideas for the things that we are going to be adding to the village and to the castle, and I think they're going to make them feel just so much better. Down here where I get my deep slate and top, there's a lot of diamond ore lying around, and we're going to start collecting that up with this one here. And then we have a bunch right here too. Can't forget this one, or these ones either. There's some more right here, and I think this might be the last group of diamonds that we can collect. We got 33 diamonds. Not too bad. All right, let's get things crafted up. So obviously we're going to need a helmet. We're going to need a chest plate. We're going to need some leggings. We're going to need some boots. And we're going to need, let's see, a pickaxe, obviously, shovel, obviously, an axe, obviously, and a sword. Well, 33 diamonds turned out to be the perfect amount to get completely geared up. And if you're wondering why I didn't get any enchantments for collecting the diamonds or getting geared up in diamond armor, this is my world that I've been using for a long time, and we are just in a different area, and I just started from the very beginning in this new area, so I really can't get the achievements because I've already gotten the achievements in this world. But now that we're all geared up in diamond armor, I think we need to get started on our projects for today. And one thing that we're going to need today is a bunch of wool, and I don't have any sheep. Now I could go out and collect a bunch of wool from the sheep that are out in the world, or we could build a little sheep pen in here and have a bunch of sheep. And I think this is a nice little area that we could fence in, and we could fill it up with sheep, and we could probably move our cows, which we currently have in our village, out here as well. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I've gone through and fixed up the terrain so it's a little bit flatter in some areas, it's a little bit more expanded in some, and I covered up the cave that was right here in this corner. For the fence that we are going to put around our sheep and our cows, we are going to do the same thing that we did around the fields, which is going to require a lot of mossy cobblestone. And I'm trying to decide whether or not I should build a moss farm or whether I should just go out and collect it like I've done in the past, because what I've done in the past has worked, but it requires a lot of bone meal, it requires a lot of time, and maybe it would just be faster to have a moss farm. Just looking at how much mossy stone bricks we use in our castle, and we are going to be expanding that at some point, we are probably going to want to switch out these towers and use mossy stone bricks. We're going to be using mossy cobblestone and some other things. I think it may be time to build a moss farm. But if we're going to build this, we are going to need to get some serious resource collection done, because we've got no redstone, we've got no redstone materials, and oh, it's night. We're going to need a lot of redstone to be able to build this moss farm. We're also going to need some obsidian, because we have to craft up some observers, which requires quartz, which requires going to the nether, and we need a place to put another portal. So we'll probably do it all over by our iron farm. I think that'll be a good place to build the moss farm and a good place to have our nether portal. I have also updated my world to 1.21.5, so as we go through the forest here, you're going to see the leaves coming down. We'll probably have to head out at some point and get some of the fallen leaves that go along the ground. Maybe try to find some of the different cows and pigs and chickens that are out there. But that'll be for another day. Today we got to focus on our projects and getting our village upgraded. We're back down here in our mine, and let's get some redstone. While I'm collecting up the resources, I wanted to talk to you about the different types of mods that I use, because I was thinking about it the other day and thought it would be good to be fully transparent about what I have running on the system. The mods that I use can be divided up into 4 categories. The first category of mods improves performance. There are 4 performance mods: Bobby, Fabric, Sodium, and Lithium. The performance mods really don't change the gameplay or add any features. They are focused on making the game run smoother, which is necessary on the Java edition. edition. The second category of mods are the ones that I used for designing builds. And there are 3 mods that I use for that: Axiom, Lightmatica, and World Edit. If you've watched my Building Bigger in Minecraft video, then you know how I use these 3 mods. I will also add that I use Lightmatica primarily to know how many materials I am going to need for any build that I design. And I also use the schematic to make sure that I don't mess up a build when I'm doing it in survival, because that's happened before and it takes forever to take a building down and then redo it. The third category of mods are utility mods. They include Flashback, which I use for recording time lapses, and Simple Voice Chat, which I use for talking to other people on the server. The replay mod was the primary reason that I switched from using Bedrock to the Java edition when I started this channel. But when Flashback came out, I switched over to it because I like a lot of the features that it has, including the ability to override the weather and the time of day when recording time lapses. The final category of mods are ones that I use to enhance the gameplay. And there are 4 mods in that category, including Logical Zoom, Sodium Dynamic Lights, Iris, and FreeCam. Iris is important because without it, we couldn't do shaders. And with FreeCam, I try not to use it a lot, but there are times where it's useful, especially when I'm trying to find my base after going out and exploring the world. Those are all of the mods that I use, and while they do enhance the gameplay a little bit, I think it keeps it pretty close to a vanilla experience. The moss farm is up and running, and it barely fits in. You can see here we're right up against the wall on this side, and if we go over here, we're also right up against the wall on this side here. It also makes our super smelter seem really small. But you can see down here we've got a bunch of moss in here and even more moss in this chest, which means we're ready to get started with our building projects for today. So our first building project for today is completed, and it's a nice simple little pen, and if we go inside you can see there's not a lot of texturing on the inside, and that's because we have to make sure that we have at least a 1.5 block height so that no cows or sheep can jump over it. And I think that should be pretty good on the interior. But on the exterior, there's a lot of texturing. So we've got oak leaves, we've got a lot of slabs and stairs just to add a little bit of variety so it's not all just one big flat wall. And especially through this area where we've got a lot of flowers, because this is a flower forest biome, it looks really good. But now we need to add in the sheep and cows that are going to be living in this area. And I don't know whether I want to try to move the ones that we have up here. I think there's too many to move down into that area. But we could find some on the outside that we could easily move in, like this sheep right here. So we now have a pretty good start for all of the sheep here. We've got a few cows as well, but that means we need to do something about all of the cows in this pen. Oh, hey, look, state. Now it's time for a little bit of cleanup, and then we can get started with building the structures that I want to add into the town. We are going to start the building process by going into the nether and collecting up a bunch of glowstone. Let's also get some moss carpets, and then we're going to use the glowstone and the moss carpets to light up this entire village, because I don't want to have a bunch of mobs spawning in here. That's going to mess everything up. 2 stacks of glowstone have been placed, and you can kind of see the light here. It does stand out quite a bit, but I'm hoping that there is enough placement. Ooh, that might be a problem right there. We might have a problem right there. But we're going to have to wait until night to find out whether we lit it up enough or if there's going to be a bunch of mobs spawning in. Here we go. The sun has set, and are we getting any mobs in this area? It's looking pretty good so far. I don't see any mobs down there. Are we getting mobs in other places? I mean, there's not a lot of mobs over there anyways. But that's definitely a dark area, so we're going to put some lights there. We're going to probably need to put some lights in through here. And all of those lights have now been placed, which means that we can start building. Or at least that means we could start building if we had all of the materials. In total, we are going to need 73 different items, and we are going to need to go out and get those collected up and then crafted up. And that's going to take a little bit of time, at least for me. You get to jump right ahead to when I have everything collected and ready to go. And I now have everything collected and ready to go in these 3 chests. It took me about 3 hours to get these all together, but I think we can now start building. And the first thing that we are going to build is a little marketplace. So we are going to put in some market stalls along the road here. We're going to expand the road to go back around to where this hill is, and we're going to flatten out this area and then put in some more market stalls along here, because what would a medieval village be without some market stalls? Of course, that does mean I gotta do a little bit of digging before we can do the building, but getting that completed wasn't too bad, and we can now get started. So our marketplace is now all set up. We've got a little stall here that's going to be mostly about plants. This one has drinks. Over here, we've got a blacksmith. This one is going to be for books. And then down here, some pottery, I guess. I kind of ran out of ideas on this one, but you will notice that we also have some barrels along the side. Over on this stall, we've got some composters. And what I want to do is get a bunch of villagers in here so that this place starts to feel a little bit more alive, because what's a marketplace without any people to buy stuff? But the villagers are going to need to wait for another day because we've got some more building to do. And our next build is going to go in this spot right here. Our latest build is a blacksmith, and I think it came together very well. We've got a lot of coarse dirt in the ground here. Of course, there's stone underneath where the forge is going to be at. We've got our tools up here. We've got shelves in the back, the anvils over here, and I think it came together very well. But we're not done with the building yet. We've got one more build that we have to do. And this build is going to go in this area right here. We've got a lot of room to work with, and this build is going to be a little bit bigger than what we've done so far. So let's get started with it. So this building is a little bit bigger than the other houses that we have in our village, and I want this building to be like an inn. So on the inside, I've done a little bit of work on the ground floor. We can go inside and see. You can see we've got a bunch of tables here. Over here, we've got a bar area where there'd be drinks. And here is the kitchen, which is very minimally decorated. And we won't even go upstairs because there's no decoration up there. It's just empty rooms. But I think the inn fits in nicely in this corner, and it fills in the area very well. And with the other additions that we've made to this village, I am really starting to like how this village is coming together. But we're not done building yet for today. We've got one more project that I want to do. And I want to fix up this area because right now this is just a big open field and it doesn't really feel like a castle courtyard. There's a lot that we could do here, and we just need to get a few things together to be able to start on that, which I have in these chests right here. So you can see all of the different items that we are going to be using to get this area decorated, which means we're now ready to get started. And we now have this courtyard all finished up. We've got a blacksmith over here, which is a little bit different to the one that we built down in the village. We've got some boxes and crates over here. We've got some firewood here. We've got our horse stables, and I actually put some horses in there, which is nice. And then we've got a fountain, which will be our way of getting water from up here in the castle. But I also did a lot of little details around this courtyard. So we've got grass here. We've also been using the leaf litter, not only to have leaves in the corner, but also as a way to transition from the coarse dirt into the stone. And it's just a nice way to merge the brown and the gray. And I really like that. In the back, we've got some simple targets for archery practice. And I think that that is a good use for this long, narrow corridor. And we can see some other examples of using the leaf litter. So just having this line zigzagging across, I think that that worked out really well, and I kind of like that, so I did that here too, and over here as well. I really like the new leaf litter. I really like how this courtyard has turned out. I like this addition to our village. I like this addition to the village. I really like our little marketplace here, and I really like our new sheep pasture. What can I say? I like what I build, and I build what I like. Well, that's going to do it for today. Next time, I think we are going to be doing some castle expansion, which I am really excited about and can't wait to get started with. But for now, thank you so much for joining. It's been great having you here. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, see you later.